Guess who's back? Back again. AndyPandy's back. So tell your friends. Yeah, I don't know why I started the video like that, but anyway, I'm back, sort of. I've got a little bit of a... I've managed to sort myself out a setup. Unfortunately, my other camera went for a swim, so it's... yeah, it's a little bit wet and didn't work. So anyway, we're sort of back. So, we're going to tie one of my favourite shrimps that I like to use usually in autumn. So usually now, usually end of August, September, October, beginning of November, just before it gets like really cold and too cold. And yeah, we're going to tie this one today. I just want to I'm actually just cutting some adhesive lead foil for the video, just in case I didn't have enough in that little patch down here. I kind of should have done that before the video had started, but I'm sure you guys will forgive me. Anyway, let's go. So, hook I've got in the vise is number 12. This is the E320 by Troutline. Now we're going to grab some of this adhesive lead foil at the base, just hold it in with your nail. We're just going to run this forward and just stop a couple of millimeters away from the eye of your hook, and then to taper it, just start again, maybe a thread turn or 2 turns up from where you started last time, and then stop slightly short. That should give you your midsection taper of your shrimp. So the thread we're going to be using is the Textream. This is the 8/0 in black. And we're just going to start this at the eye. And just going to do some like relatively loose turns just over the body. I'm going to trim away the excess now. And just continue with a few of these relatively loose turns up the lead. It's just basically to stop the lead unraveling. Sometimes it does, you know, it's not perfect, no material's perfect, but it's just the way it is. So, next material we are going to tie in is some of this, which is the Troutline Perdigon wire in black. This is the 0.1, so the thinner stuff. And now I'm just going to tie that in on the side, just do a couple of turns to secure it in there. And also now I'm going to grab my next material, which I've got in my mouth, yuck. Actually going to need a new piece because that piece is wrecked for some reason. We've got some Glow Bright floss, and this is Glow Bright number 4. So again, moisten the end of it and just tie it in. Just do a couple of turns to tie it in. And then we can come in with our next material, which is the hen's shellback. Now this is actually the original hen's shellback before they actually changed it to the newer stuff, which I hate because it's too crinkly and for me just doesn't. Yeah, look, it's going to catch the same amount of fish, but me OCD wise it stresses me out because I don't like it because it doesn't finish the fly how I want it to be finished. But we'll tie this in on top and just push with your finger, just push it into the base of the hook. Got a little bit of fluff on the end of my bobbin and it's getting on my nerves. And just wind your thread down until it comes off the end of your lead wire like that. And then just take your thread up and just tidy up that midsection of the fly. Now you're taking your thread all the way back down. So the next step is to tie in your dubbing. So I'll show you, I'll get like a clump of it out. This is the dubbing we're using. And this is Troutline tanned pine squirrel skin. So this is like came as a whole skin. What I do is I get an electric razor, buzz all of the fur off, under fur, all of it, and put it into a bag, mix it all up, and hey presto, you've got a massive bag of dubbing which is going to last you, well, this is going to last you a long time. This will probably tie a few thousand flies. So it's well worth it for like, I think it's €16 or €17, so it's well cheap and well worth it. But anyway, we've dubbed that on. Just a relatively small amount at first. I'll just so I can start at the base, and then I'll wind this up. Touch and turns, just so you create like a relatively dense body, because we're going to brush this out with a dubbing brush at the end. I'm just dubbing some more on to my thread now. Okay, as I said, you might need a few applications of this because you want to get it right. You don't want a crazy amount on there, and you don't want it too thin, you don't want it too fat. So for me, hopefully this will be spot on. So we're just working our way down the fly. I'm going to actually just a tiny weeny little bit of dubbing on there because I've very slightly stopped short of the eye. Just a tiny weeny little bit. Just so I can get this head how I want it. There we go, spot on. Now grab a whip finish tool. All I'm going to do is just do a one-turn whip finish. And that way my thread is nice and secure while I'm winding my first rib. So your first rib is going to be the Glow Bright floss. And just start at the back, and we're just going to wind our way up the body, through the dubbing, all the way to the eye of the hook. And then just do a turn over the top, turn in front, and just repeat this twice. Once you've done that, keep your thread nice and tight, grab your whip finish tool, and finish. As you can see, I'm not using my nice Petit-Jean one, I'm using the CNF one, which, if I'm honest, I don't like at all. It's too stiff and rigid, I don't like it. Anyway, next stage. Grab your shell back. Now just fold it over the back of the fly. And then once it's at the head, all I do is pinch it with my left hand, shorten my thread, come over the top with a relatively loose turn. I then pull the shell back very slightly, and that cinches everything in there nicely for you. Now I'm going to do 2 or 3 turns. Come in with a sharp pair of scissors and just trim away the excess shell back. Now all I'm going to do is grab my whip finish tool. I'm just going to whip finish that in there, so that's secured now with a whip finish. Don't worry about the tiny little bit of tag, it's absolutely fine. We'll sort that out once we go back. As you can see, there's the rib under there. Now, next stage, grab your black wire and then just start at the very base of your shrimp. And then just wind your wire up until it gets to the head. To be honest, I could probably just do a quick turn over the top like that. There we go. And what I've done there, I did a turn over the top of the wire, I folded the wire back, and now I'm going to run the thread back over the wire, running up the shank of the hook. I'm just creating a small little head. Once I've created my head, all I need to do, grab my whip finish tool, this is a really important thing about having fine thread like the Textreme 8, you know, it's strong enough to do whatever you want to do, but thin enough so you can make sure your fly is nice and secure and you've got a nice neat head on here and all the rest of it. I'll put that wire in the bin because it's only like ½ an inch long. Well, there's the fly almost finished. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the fly now, just checking that it's even, because I want the shell on there nice and even on both sides. I'm just going to basically manoeuvre it with my fingers. As you can see, a nice thread showing through under there. Now, what I'm going to do first, just grab my stump for dubbing brush. Just going to brush some of these fibres out, because I want this to be nice and leggy, because these leggies get, you know, in the water, they kind of like pulsate and move, and I generally think myself that's one of the real fish attractors, when these legs start moving. I'm just going to position this properly. There we go. Now, next stage, I've got my black Pro marker. What I like to do next is just blacken this head section. Obviously we're already using black thread, so that, you know, your thread doesn't make a difference, but I like to blacken this head section of these flies. And then last but not least, if I can find it, boom, I found it. We've got some Gulf Thinman resin. Just try to make sure there's no fluff on top or any of these guard hairs. Just grab some of this, just a little bit of resin. Don't need a lot. But this will really set the fly off. So it really does, it really brings out the colours in the back. I'm sorry I'm having to turn it round, but it's just obviously if I don't get it right, then it'll stress me out. I don't know whether you guys are like that, but like for me, I just like everything to be as perfect. I know the fish don't care, but look at that, you know, it looks superb now with some resin on top of it. And then I've actually got the new Gulf Pro torch here finally, the new Gulf Pro. I love this torch, it's superb. Does that, we've actually turned the thing on. Guess what? I think the torch has run out of battery, folks. Damn it. That's my own fault. I have to use this one. I've got to charge my torch, but it's absolutely fine. I've got 2 torches. So we'll set this. I probably just left my torch on and not turned it off. That's my normal trick. That's nicely set now. And then what I like to do to finish off, I do this on most of my shellbacks. Obviously the Gulf Finman's very, very tough and strong, but I always like to get a little bit of varnish and just brush over the back with some fine varnish, whichever brand you want to use. I don't really care, your choice. And then that adds that even crazier level of security, because I fish these a lot, and to be honest I've never had one ruin yet because of this finish process. But now we just leave that to dry, and there is your shrimp. Obviously give this one a go, honestly, especially in autumn, give it a go. You're really going to catch some fish. I hope you enjoyed the video as well. It's nice to be back, and apologise for being away for so long. I'm hoping I can get the camera situation sorted, so I actually got an easier setup for myself. This one's a pain in the butt to get sorted because I've got to plug it in my computer. I had to buy a program for it to work, and yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, I've still got it working and I'm still here, sort of. Anyway, thank you very much for watching videos. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one.